all haven't met him. Captain Tom Buller, he's a Pathfinder commander. Wounded over there, one of the best officers in the brigade. And I'm slowly but surely getting to know Tom from this incident. And I wish you a speedy recovery. And he's a guy that knew your family members. And he's a guy to talk to. So I charge you with talking to families. It's good to get it out there. It's good to talk about these people and remember them for who they were. And remember them as heroes, because that's exactly what they were. And Tom, you're that guy. You're the conduit. And so meet him, talk to him, shake his hand, say hi to him. And you know, somebody that knew your sons and brothers and cousins and nephews and fathers. So talk to them. Okay. And of course, if you need anything, you can come to any one of these people that I mentioned. That's standing up here. We're here for you. That's what we're here for. That's why we're having this dinner, so you can see us all before all the action starts tomorrow. And without further ado, Barbara and Captain Whittier, you guys have the floor. This is your show, and thanks everybody again for coming and eating some food. So thanks.
Okay. Each family will get one of these plaques that were made with lots of love. Sergeant Mills' mother. Kristen Osman. Specialist Patton. Sergeant Ramos. We received donations from literally around the world to get these plaques made for you guys. So it came from a bunch of people. Oh, and Sandy Thompson, she actually made those plaques. She put in hours and hours of work, and she did a wonderful job on those.
Thanks.
Like I said, lots of love.
Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. Please enjoy yourself, eat, stay as long as you want. Thanks, Barbara. But who was sticking around, just
And explore the museum.
Right.
There's his like come on.
Yeah. Oh, you're fine. No, because like all the other pictures, it was like a mugshot. They're all like,
Just briefly over there.
and then Ergin's like
I
that
love
classic
that one.
smile, and he's just like, I was like, that is so
I have
him.
one on my desk, and every time I look at him, like, God, you're goofy, because he's like,
That was his
The
attitude.
classic Oz smile, and then I have a bunch of stuff for you, like his funeral and the Plainside honors and everything. So it was, if you could have been there,
I wish we
it
could
was
have.
amazing.
I
And
heard Aaron told me, and Aaron got over to, he was racing around from funeral. I was still like, I think it was still in Germany.
Hey, can I get attention, please? All the escorts and stuff for the families, can y'all meet me out front? All the escorts for the families, just meet me out front. All right, please.
We began working with Partner Force, which is important because that's why we're there. And we started training these guys that were, going to replace us, kind of building our own unit there so that they can protect themselves and protect their people. And Oz was always anyone who could read English would always catch his name like that. And Oz was proud of the name. Proud of his background. It's a fearsome name over there. It commands respect.
He's traveled all over the world.
Combine
when people
that.
have stopped him at UAE and Bahrain and said,
That's right.
son, where are you from?
He combined that with his stature.
He was a proud man.
Exactly. Everything about him was proud. And he shared, he's a proud Muslim. He shared that with the guys. He was the only Muslim that was among us, which was important because, they knew that, the guys that worked. And that showed them something about America. anyone can be part of us and get freedom.
On his tombstone, I had the crescent moon and the star of the Turkish flag.
There's just 5 of us. Me,
How many kids last night?
that was it for Pathfinder.
Your parents are still alive?
LT, we're back at Fob's Bingo and they're the QRF. They were really supposed to even go. What happened was we got out there and we got to the trailer and the entire area.
Grandparents on my side of the family.
The area was really
They were the kids.
So
Dave's parents.
the whole trailer exploded. Several hundred pounds of explosives destroyed my knee. Unfortunately,
Did they suffer time?
no. No.
I heard he was taken to a hospital.
He wasn't out there. Ergin wasn't out there yet.
Oh, okay.
It was just 5 of us, and Ergin wasn't out there. Now I couldn't stop bleeding my leg. I passed out twice from blood loss. I barely crawled to a helicopter pretty far away to try to go back to Fob's Boldeck where QRF was. And by the time I got there, I was between death and life, and I luckily made it to surgery. Now, Ergin and the lieutenant and everyone else there came to save the rest of the guys.
Oh, God.
That's why he went out there. He was, like he always was in life, he was a selfless hero. So, I don't know what happened there. Because I don't know if you were with him.
I wasn't with him, but I was able to collect all the stories of the guys that were with him.
From what I understand, it was just another. There's IEDs everywhere. I mean, they put them all over the place. It's just a cowardly way to fight.
You know, with his training, with his many years of service that he's been in, and with being part of FRG, I always prepared for the worst and expected the best. In my heart, I always thought a leg, an arm, but never this.
I think that the IED that got him was meant for a helicopter. They do that now too. In fact, it was where the medevac helicopter was going to land to get us. And the last thing I was able to tell the helicopters was, do not land near us because there's more out here. Now, Oz, with all of his training and everything, he went in because he was trying to save his buddies.
I know, I understand.
I mean, he could have just said, okay, we'll wait it out, and wait. Oz went in, like any hero, and it was pure valor.
Did he suffer?
He didn't suffer.
I don't
Was he
think.
I heard that he was taken to a hospital and he couldn't be revived.
He regained consciousness, but he didn't suffer. He felt no pain. I can tell you that 100% confidence.
You're sure?
Yes.
First I heard that he was awake for like 3 hours and his eye was hurt and
He was awake for quite a while, but
did he say anything? Was anyone with him?
there were 2 soldiers with him. Specialist McMillan and Sergeant Evans were the ones that took care of him before he passed away. They stopped the bleeding, got him on the helicopter, got him to safety before he passed in the emergency.
So he didn't say anything or...
He asked if if his legs were still there, if his arms were still there. He couldn't feel anything, so
He
that's
was numb.
Yeah, he was numb. He was just asking if his limbs were there, what he looked like, things like that.
All over the world. Tom and I would be walking around with him, and somebody would come up, some kind of operator, somebody, big old beard, huge guy.
he'd come up to the table while we were eating, and he'd be like, "Who is this guy?" And he'd be like, and tell Oz like, "You were my SOTP instructor like 7 years ago." And he'd be like, "Oh yeah." So he touched so many lives. The soldiers.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen. Me and Aaron shoot a lot. We used to go out here and we hung out a lot off duty. Oz is a friend to everybody. He's a good friend of me and Aaron. And there's one of our medics has a farm out near Bowling Green.
Ohio.
In Kentucky. Yeah, not too far from here, about an hour. We go out there to shoot. Man, you talk a lot about how good of a shot he was, but like most people like to talk about, oh, I can shoot this, that, and the other. Oz was probably one of the very few people in the world that can put his money where his mouth is. Holy mackerel, you see him shoot. I've never seen someone shoot like that. Oh man.
With a pistol, I mean, you can even watch guys like on IMSIC, like the competitions that they have, and I've never seen somebody shoot a pistol like him. I was astounded. I was sitting out there like jaw dropped. Like something.
Not the guy you'd want to get in a gunfight with.
Yeah, no, never seen anybody shoot like that.
And that was just a pistol. I wasn't like, his bread and butter was, he was a sniper.
We had a new ghillie suit that was made for him on his deployment.
Really?
My neighbor took up a collection. We collected over $3,000. And we got the platoon all brand new boots, water bottles, lights, and then he needed a new ghillie suit.
We talked about that because we were talking about
That was
maybe
my neighbor Dave.
doing something for this platoon, or we're gonna get in those assault belts or something. But yeah, he talked about that. I'm talking about Ergin's famous Ranger panties he wear around all the time.
Oh my God.
With his freaking legs and everything like that. He's
so short. I mean, they're probably about this from like waistline.
Skibby.
Yeah, you could wear them everywhere. We couldn't get them to put regular clothes on. We get new soldiers coming in, like brand new privates here, who don't know anything about it. And the first person they meet is like, so he's got like tattoos, he's just huge.
Yeah.
And he's wearing these like little ranger shorts, these little ranger pants.
he'd go outside like the bathrooms at Kandahar were outside the living areas, and like usually like even first sergeant Sanchez, he'd get on people about being out of uniform, but like here comes Oz out of the cave like an angry bear, and like you'd see people like going to like want to make a correction or something, and they'd see him, they'd be like, no. Leave him alone. And he was, had that look on his face when he woke up. Like, it's just the bear just came out of the cave. So he,
Good friend Sergeant Jasper, they were snipers together. And before our last deployment to Afghanistan, nobody had been to Afghanistan but Oz. And Oz would say, you know, he'd tell him all these stories because he had been there. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, it was just Oz and Poster. Because Poster was there with 10 Mountain, and Oz, like, so people should be picking his brain, and he's telling people about monkeys.
So he tells the guys, he's like, the craziest thing about Afghanistan is there's monkeys. So Jasper and all the guys were like, this guy is insane. There's no monkeys in Afghanistan. You gotta be kidding me. So then they go and like a couple months go into the deployment, and of course they don't see any monkeys. So it's like, you know, the guys start kind of prodding about it, like, oh yeah, you know, maybe we'll see some monkeys, or oh, where are the monkeys, or you know, this and that. And Jasper said, sure enough, they went out on a mission. They were doing some like Overwatch mission with snipers, and they're sitting there in the brush somewhere like up in the northeast. And lo and behold, those monkeys come across the tree, and Jasper like starts freaking out. He's like, oh my god! And he looks over at Oz, and Oz just smirks at him because you know, he has that trademark smile. And he's like, sure enough. And Jasper went back, and he told all the guys, he's like, monkeys, freaking monkeys. There's monkeys in Afghanistan. You know what I mean? It's one of the funniest stories.
Is that when Captain Lewis asked them?
No, it was Captain Hurlick. We were out doing PT one morning, and Captain Hurlick decided to come out there with us. So we're jogging along, and we run through these trails in the woods and all this other kind of crazy stuff. We go over and do our push-ups, our pull-ups, and our dips, and we probably did 20 million. I don't even know. So PT was almost over, and they were like, well, you guys can, we'll do a formation run back. That way we look like we're in some kind of order and you don't look at a bunch of bums. So we're jogging back. Captain Hurlick's in the back, and he's like, hey, I bet you guys can't bring that telephone pole back, and that's all that it took. So there's a 50-foot long telephone pole that's probably, 24, 25, 30 inches around. It's about this big around at the bottom. So Austin was like, stop, get on the log. So he spreads our whole platoon out, all 18 of us or so. He's like, get ready to lift the log.
My platoon was in the background just looking at you guys like, I'm glad I'm not in that platoon.
So me, Oz, and our big dumb strong animal Shell, we're in the back on the biggest part of the log, right? So he's like, 1, 2, 3, and we pick it up, and then we're standing there with it, and it's heavy as crap. He's like, all right, everybody to the right shoulder. We're gonna go run this thing back. And we're like, this thing weighs 20 tons.
I'm having trouble just holding it.
This thing is ridiculous. He's like, shut up. Right shoulder, go. So we all put it on our shoulder. And we've got this 50-foot long telephone pole. And we're running it back. So we're jogging back with this telephone pole. And then we're like, all right, man, we're going to set it down right here. Because we're definitely not going to carry this thing down this hill. Oh, no. That is not the case. Because he was like, figure out how to get it down the hill. And I was like, set it down and roll it down the hill. Oz was like, no, that's the sissy way. So I was like, oh. So slowly, we start inching our way down this steep hill that's probably about this tall, but it's like straight down. So we'd have to have like 1 or 2 guys jump off the log, jump down the hill, and then grab it like up over their head and try to carry it and hold it while everybody else is working their way down the hill. Well, by the time it got down to me, Shell, and Oz, there was nobody else holding the back of the log up for us. So we're walking, and it keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I'm like, Oz, dude, we're getting drove into the ground. He's like, don't worry about it, it's cool. He's like, what? You're crazy. So we kept walking it down the hill, and eventually it got to where we were standing, or squatting rather, and we were probably about 2.5 feet tall while we're trying to duck walk this log down the hill while everybody else is trying to jog with it now because he told them to hurry up because PT was almost over. And then finally we get it back to the company after taking it down this hill, and everybody else is starting to come in, and everybody's looking at us like we're retarded because we have this giant telephone pole. And then Oz is like, all right, everybody take it to your chest. So we're like, whew, and it starts getting heavier. And we're tired now, so we start to lean forward because we couldn't hold it up very much longer. And he's like, all right, when I say 3, drop the log and jump out of the way. And the worst part about it is it's all slick and muddy too. So he's like, 1, 2, 3. So we push it off and drop it on the ground. And when it hits the ground, it sinks into the ground probably about 5 inches. And that was the kind of stuff that he would have us do on a semi-regular basis. It's amazing.
Keep you guys in shape.
Yes.
that or for his own amusement. Probably a little of both.
A little of both. But that stuff happened regular.
You have a lot to write about.
Oh.
Well, we have this story now taped, so now you don't need to write this one.
Oh, that guy is crazy.
He had a good heart. He wore it on his sleeve.
Yeah, he did.
It was rough and tough.
Until you got past it, and then he's like a big kitten.
Oh, until I gave him a kitten. He acts all tough, but as soon as I give him a kitten, he's all like, kitty, kitty, boom, boom.
I remember there was these little stray kittens that were across the road that were living in this little shack where they were keeping like gas and oil and all this stuff for
Over
like
at the old
lawnmower
one,
and
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
And Oz is like, man, look at those little cats. Those things are crazy and wild. I want one. So we're over there and we're like trying to poke at them and trying to prod them out with a stick underneath the building. And we're like making all kinds of racket. And he's like, all right, well, we got them all pretty scared, and they were pretty fast. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch them today. So then we left them alone for the rest of the day and came back the next morning, and he was like, I still want one of those kittens. One of them looks like Sylvester the cat. I have to have it. So we're sitting there, and we're waiting for him to come out, and then one of them starts to peek its head out, and we're just like, don't do anything yet. There's like 6 or 7 more of them. He's like, just wait. So they started to trickle out here and there, and we're kind of playing in the grass and doing this and that. And he's like, I'm gonna sneak up on one of them. Like, oh dude, you're like 400 pounds, and you're like 6 feet wide at the shoulders. And he's like, I'm a sniper. I can do it, I can sneak up on him, no problem. So he starts creeping up on it. Then he gets probably 15 yards, definitely way too far to take a bolt of one. And he's waiting, he sees that one and they make eye contact, and he could tell it was getting intense. And he's like, it's now or never. You could just see it in his eyes. And he takes off running as fast as he can at this little kitten that's about 15 yards away, who's about 6 feet away from its little hidey hole that it was in. And it magically made it to its hole before he got there. So he's like, oh, I can't take it anymore. I want one of these kittens. So we took the doors off the building. We ripped the doors off the building. We started emptying all the stuff out. Then we could hear him crawling around underneath the plywood floor in the building. So we were like, he's like, I gotta get one of these kittens. He's nutty as a loon. So he's like, we started peeling the floor up. And then finally we got it to where they couldn't really get away. He reached down to grab that little one that looked like Sylvester, and it swatted him. It swatted his hand. He was like, oh, I have to have that one now. But they're mad, so I'm going to leave them alone. So we left this building tore apart for another day with somebody's stuff laying out all over the place. Yeah. And we left them alone, let them cool down. And the next morning when they were all asleep and it was still dark outside, he came in early, specifically to catch these little kittens. And he finally got that little kitten. He brought it home. It was mean to Boris. It was mean to him. He said that cat had been possessed or something.
Oh my God.
Because it was just the meanest little thing he ever seen. And I'm pretty sure they never got rid of that cat. Yeah. And they ended up spending like $150 or something on it for like shots and vet bills and all this other crap.
So then I gave him another cat, like, it was about a year later. I just gave him another, I gave him a cat like 5 months ago, like 6 months ago. Well, right before they deployed, I gave him a kitten. They called it Kitty Kitty Boom Boom. He said he used to climb up the curtains and sit on top of the windowsill. Or not on top of the windowsill, but on top of the curtains. And they couldn't get down.
Yeah. That was, oh my gosh.
You folks have got lots and lots of stories to share.
Oh, you have no idea.
Now please write every chance you get. Are we going to go somewhere? Or
I hope you enjoyed it. Kind of, you know, under such bad circumstances, kind of good thing is we can all get together over food and break some bread. I see a lot of smiling faces today, and I hear stories about some of the guys, and that's a good thing because I think that's how they would want it to be. One of the things I preach to soldiers is about resiliency and about overcoming what's going on in our life, and this is the beginning of it. Today is a day of final closure for most of us, and we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to being resilient in our lives and overcoming the sad times that these events have brought us. So I encourage you all to be resilient, and with that, I give the floor to Mary Lou Royer, Colonel Royer's wife, and she's going to pass out a couple of gifts.
I'm not as loud as so I'll do my best. I've met most of you, not all of you, but I'll try to make it around to all you guys. My husband is the commander of 159 Combat Aviation Brigade. He's currently in Kandahar, and if he could be here, he would. I'll tell you that right now. He said that. We are so grateful that you guys could all make the trip down here because a lot of families do not make the trip. We're glad you did, so we can all meet you all. And just so you know, you will always be part of our family, the 159. You know, we'll leave. My husband will change out command next summer, but you know, I'll get my email address to you guys. You can always contact us for anything. You are our family. We just want to take care of you, and we hope you are, and that we, you know, making everything comfortable for you. So as a small token of our appreciation, we just got y'all a little trinket box that has the brigade press on is our brigade logo. So you want to put some little mementos in it, but think of us every time you have this because we'll always be doing it. So, Santa. So anyways, that's it. We'll be heading over to the Vision here probably, some of us, I guess, over there in a few, 30 minutes or so. So sit tight, relax. You guys know all our FRSAs. Have you met them all or not? I'll introduce you. Pam McFarland, she is our brigade FRSA. And for those of you who don't know, they're like our civilian person that's kind of like the bridge between the green suiters and us families. She's our brigade, so I'm going to have her or some of the other ones get your contact information so you always have it. And Debbie Bush, with Debbie, you all met Debbie last night who was there. She's the 4th 101 FRSA. And if you guys need anything or whatever, if you get their contact information, we'll always keep in touch with you. We have some other ones back there on where they contact their others. Deidre, Julie, Crystal, Jennifer. They're for the other, our brigade made up of 5 battalions, so there's 1 squadron and 4 battalions for the CAV people here in the room. But any of us, we all work as a team together, so any of us will help you with anything you need. So sit back, relax, and then we'll be heading over in a little bit. So thank you all.
I just want to run down the schedule just so everybody has an idea what's going on. So at 2 o'clock, we'll all move over to the division headquarters. And once you go in there, you're going to go inside, go to the left, and there'll be McAuliffe Hall. And then certain family members will meet with General Colt starting at 2:30. The Mills family will meet General Colt. Then the Osman family at 2:45. The Ramos family at 3 o'clock, and the Patton family at 3:15, and then at 1600 will be the ceremony. So once that happens, we'll get in the vans and we'll move over to the Family Readiness Center. So it's about a 20-minute drive. While that stuff is going on, there's a Hall of Heroes, and your family members will have a little plaque put on the wall in the Hall of Heroes, so other family members will be involved with that. Where's my first sergeant? He's right behind me. First Sergeant Steve, he's my right-hand man. He'll be down there with that, and I'll be upstairs with General Colt and Mrs. Rohr, and a couple of chaplain, and a couple other people. So relax. We still got a half an hour left. Have another sip of coffee or something else to eat, and enjoy the rest of your time here. So if y'all have any questions, just ask. Thanks.
They were standing right there, and all the trucks, everything.
Containers are right here, and the trucks were parked right here. Yeah.
Trucks were all parked here, and all the cars. You were here?
Yeah, I was here for that.
Oh, God. He stood right there and he goes, Mom, look around. Some of us aren't coming back. And then there was somebody in there who was living in there, and they started moving their furniture out. Do you remember that?
Living in there.
Somebody was staying there because they were having some marital problems or something, and they moved. There was a couch in there and a TV in there, and they were moving all that stuff out as well. See that parking lot and the trucks that were here, and the tires on the trucks were taller than me.
This is Pathfinder Company. This is actually our new building. Our old building was on the airfield.
This is where we were, and he stood right
Yep.
here. I have the picture.
Yep. Last time I saw Oz was right here on a snowy day when they left. Him and Tom were flying out together. Came to see him off. This was all this was full of ice and snow, so we all did donuts. But you're gonna have to edit that other tape. That was the last day I saw Oz and Tom. Yep. Yeah.
That's where I took these at.
this log, funny enough, I'm pretty sure they all kind of look the same, but one day we had a little smaller log about this long that we painted black, and it had a Ranger tab on the side of it. But we were trying to do PT with logs, and we were running out of logs, and you know, everybody was using different logs and things like that. And so I told Oz one day, I said, hey, you should go find us another log that we could do PT with. And sure enough, he came running down. This is the old company, but he came running across with this telephone pole. Lord knows where he got this thing, but it probably weighs like 300 or 400 pounds. And they were all running up here sweating. And I just remember thinking, I was like, Oz, I meant like a little log, not like a giant telephone pole. So they'd come out here and do PT and do log.
We throw rucksacks on and then we carry the.
If we go around this way, I think this would be the
Get moved out of here.
This is the bay. I'll take you guys on a little tour. I'll show you. I'll actually show you Oz's wall in a minute. But you can see some of the beautiful nicknames we give people.
I think they used to call them drama. At least they did. There would be snapshots of them.
So this is the bay up here. So it's all kind of ransacked now because all the boys are gone. But you can see we have nothing but the finest furniture.
Grab this one here. What is TMU?
Team 2.
Team 2, okay.
Team 2, yep. Operation Enduring Freedom.
9/11.
09/11, yep.
What's 14631 for?
I actually think that's 14,631 feet. There's a downed aircraft, and Oz and those guys went up there. If you can see, there's Sergeant Osman right there.
Did he sign it?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh God. What's 1027? Oh no, Oz.
Oz.
That's an apprentice's Oz he wrote.
There's Sergeant Jasper, the guy that we were talking about. Yep. That's him. There's Doc Ramos.
Okay. Is Mills in there too?
No, Mills was on Team 3 for his last deployment.
Okay.
But yeah. Actually, I'm gonna take this rock with me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but we're gonna put it somewhere.
That desk was set up over here. And the table was moved out into the center here, and we had some whiteboards up there. And that's where we trained them. The fridge was over in the corner back there.
One of the main reasons why he moved is because he was the last deployment he was a squad leader. But this deployment, both Tom and I, in some ways, promoted him to platoon sergeant. He was my platoon sergeant through this whole time. So
I know that was a thorn in his side, that he had been a staff sergeant for so very long, because he was a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps. And then when he joined the Army, they told him, okay, 1 year, and then we're going to promote you, and then that promotion never came through. I was hoping that they could do something. 36.
That's where he kept all his things. There's nothing in there anymore, but that's where he'd hang his cargo shorts, his Ranger panties, and a t-shirt.
No, as usual, everything's cleaned out.
Well, you know Oz, I'm surprised it's not.
Yeah, he got that from me. I don't know if I should admit that or not,
It was
but
probably spick and span before he left, but this is where he'd keep all his stuff. Because if you notice, it's in a very strategic spot. See, he can hide, but he can still view everything that's going on. So he'd spy on all the guys, because usually those doors were open. So he'd sit here in like an ambush, waiting to prey on the new guys, waiting to see what was going on. Where they
I
couldn't
heard
see
about
him.
some of the new guys and what they had to put them, what they put them through to make sure that they were loyal.
That's first deployment.
What are these just doing here?
I don't know.
What's pictures?
We're gonna take these with us. Yeah, you guys should have one of these. We need to get one of these framed for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, these were from the last deployment, but you guys should have one of these. I don't know why they're just
Why
sitting.
does that one have a purple heart and these don't?
That I don't know. That I couldn't tell you.
They'd
First in, last out.
they'd done that for Hercules, they were
Hercules.
trying different,
Oh, I
different
see.
things.
These are probably early.
Yeah, he has one Purple Heart he turned down. And then they sent another Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, I think I have.
Yeah, we roll some of these up before the full week goes out. We get some grain for family members. These were bought by our company. So. There was a chain. I was trying to find a huge chain. We used to have a giant chain. Yeah. Here's some signs. This looks like some of the stuff that used to be in our museum. Over here, you can get in. Watch out, guys.
Yeah, this is some of it.
So all this should be.
Ramos, isn't he the one that was killed because of his wife?
Yes.
But you can see these are some of the old signs. This is from the Lima Company, 75th.
This is a sign of an old company back here.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. To see that one. You know what, they have some of these, they're written on them. Have you seen this?
My map.
You think you would have signed any of these?
I think those are actually before its time. We can
Okay.
look. Just the image, but-
Neatness of dress. Oh, God.
Normally there'd be more stuff in here, but all this stuff goes back to 60s, 70s. This is all Vietnam era stuff back when our company was Lursteed.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah. So
Who got chosen to sign all this? How did you guys?
people were people that were in the company. So
66.
This is when
67, 68.
so this is probably
He was here?
that was his desk. There's probably not much of him left right there now, but that is where he sat. This is where I sat, and it was Team 3's area. What are you guys doing in here?
We're not legal. Yeah, this is not a legal shop.
Yeah, sorry to come in.
All right, we're
nice. I can see the DC still represents it. Yeah, that's probably the brigade legal stuff. That's
Yes, sir.
all our stuff's probably packed up. But that was his desk. That's where we sat.
You would think he would have left something behind, you know?
That's for the people that didn't make their bed right.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. It's
I'll
pretty
leave it.
common.
I'll
Yeah,
leave
it's.
You know, most people are proud to have boys. I was just proud to be his mom. I never ever had trouble with him. I never had drug problems. I never had smoking issues. I never had him stealing from me. I've never ever gone through any of that. And when he chose to join the military in the fall of 1997, I said to him, "Why do you want to do this?" And he goes, "Mom," he said, "I want to put back into this country what I take out." That's what was his reasoning. I said, "Well, I said, all I can do is support you with what you want to do. And I gave them a going away party when all the rest of the parents had kicked these kids out of their homes and said, how dare you to do what you're doing. Instead, I went and had this huge cake made with the globe, the anchor, and the eagle, and the marine cone that says, good luck, son. And I was down in Paris Island, 115-degree heat, standing out there watching them graduate. And, you know, going down to Camp Lejeune throughout the birth of the kids. When you I mean, I spent $1,000 to paint a $5 bed sheet. Because at Camp Lejeune, family members got bed sheets and they painted them, you know, so welcome home, son, I love you, and everything, you know, and whatnot, and the kids would paint welcome home, daddy. Then the family members would post the sheets on the main boulevard at Lejeune, and the buses would slow down when they're back from their deployment, and they would go very slowly so the kids could read what their family members did. I flew down there, rented a car, painted that bed sheet, and flew back home because he needed quality time with the kids and with her, with me. So I said, I will see him later, but I wanted to make sure he had his sheet that his mother made.
The old building is over there. It's gate 4, the main gate. You drive in, the road splits, and there was an old white building there.
Okay.
They rebuilt, or they stopped working out of there. This new building here, it was built a few years ago. It's tremendous. They have a huge memorial area in here, and it's got a lot of history dating back to World War II, just like that museum is. And this is where the wall is. So, over here? Okay.
Matt, when the general is talking, can we videotape him? Thank you.
Parachute. In return, it has all the daggum battle streamers for the division, all the Medal of Honor winners.
Let
didn't forget about us. If you need me to put that box,
I was in Chapel for 3 months. I had to come back. My wife has cancer, so I had to come back. But I got to spend time, 3 months with them. And I was able to draw Oz. If you don't know who would like to have the drawing.
I'll take it.
It's like a kind of like a cartoon and a portrait.
Wow.
But anyway,
That's
you guys,
beautiful.
That is gorgeous.
we got to talk a lot, and I'd make fun of him because he was so strong. But he was able to motivate all the Pathfinders, and I enjoyed being with them. My hooch was right next to theirs, and we were able to talk and spend some time. So,
It's beautiful.
you guys need anything? Coffee right there. Give me one.
Thank you.
There's my chaplain assistant. He was helping out building a gym, and a cardio gym, and next to it is the weight gym. And the weight gym, they're gonna name the weight gym, a new one, after the Pathfinders. So it's, I would say in about 3 months, there'll be a newsletter article on it, so they'll have something to that effect, just in case you guys are interested. I can forward that to you. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's very awesome. It's a great picture.
If you want a more detailed drawing of another photograph, that's one I got when I was out there with them.
Okay.
It was just one they gave me, and that's all I had. But if you have another photograph, you want me to really detail it, make it not so cartoony, but more portrait, more shading, I can do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I would appreciate if you can do that for my grandchildren.
Okay.
He has 2 boys, that's 6 and 9.
Okay. Are they
No, they could not be here.
Okay. Sure. You want that drawing for them, or a drawing of your grandkids?
A drawing of their daddy.
Okay.
For the boys.
Okay. All right. Something like that? Or do you want me to get a photograph from you?
I will let you use your judgment.
Okay.
Maybe anything to like that.
I can draw that, but a little bit more detail.
We're doing all this with the table for the boys because they asked us to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I got to spend some time in the Marine Corps, and I used to make fun of him because he was a prior Marine. I went to Quantico and OCS, and he'd always rip on me, and I'd rip on him about, enlisted guys. I'm prior enlisted too, so we always, we'd talk about Marine Corps stuff. And I thought he'd rip on the Army. He really did. he was ripped on the ring. I was like, man, you've changed too much.
Will you do me a favor?
Yes, ma'am.
There are memorial pages that have been created on Facebook for my boy. They're created for my grandchildren.
Okay.
So they get an opportunity to get to know their dad.
Okay.
Because as they grow, their memories whether you've worked with him, for him, whatever, good, bad, I'd like to get that on Facebook because the boys you just want to share your stories.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to email you, like a personal? I can email you maybe something more in detail, and it could be.
Whatever
Yeah.
you want to share.
Okay. I'll get your. I think by the time we stop talking or I start yapping, you guys might go back that way. So I'll get.
What's your email address? I could send it to you if you want.
Email is Trey Vaughn.
TREY.
Trey Vaughn VAUGHN.
Okay.
2003 at yahoo.com.
Gotcha.
And I can draw one more drawing, whatever you want. You tell me. You want another drawing? That's cool. I can write a little personal interaction story. Okay.
For the drawing, if you want to mail it, if you want to.
Oh, I'll send it in the mail. You guys have the original. Keep it.
Thank you.
There's on that drawing. There's like some smudges when I draw the. I didn't erase all the smudges off, but it's probably like right here. So you can like erase it.
So it's perfect as is.
Did you say Trey VAUGHN 2003?
Yeah, TREY Vaughn 2003 at yahoo.com.
Okay.
And I'll jump on that drawing ASAP. See you guys tomorrow. If you guys stay, I'm going to later on.
Hello, welcome. Can I invite you back to my boss's office? It's a little larger. It's a pleasure. Please, this way. Go ahead.
Sorry, my hands went for the water bottle.
Oh, and you're cold. I mean, it's
These Pathfinders are a special population, believe me. Mary Lou's husband's the commander now, but I had that organization 2 times ago, and I deployed them to Iraq the very first time that they were aligned with the brigade. So it is pretty deeply personal for me too. A very, very close friend of mine now commands the squadron that they were attached to. He's one of the best war fighters I ever known, and he took this so deeply personal.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Marla Schroeder.
Oh, I don't ask. I just start at them.
You know, sometimes I don't. I think I
excuse me.
didn't count right. It's my fault.
Thank you.
Be with us. Hi, I'm Marla Schroeder. It's very nice to meet you. She has a pen for you.
Hi.
I'm Marla Schroeder. Very nice to meet you. I'm sorry it had to be under these circumstances.
Thank you.
May I pin you?
Please.
Would you rather it was on the dress or on the tag?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah, can I get this off? There we go. My fingers
I
are...
finally got my wings, huh?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
neat.
Remember
It's a
that.
heavy price to pay.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me if I can see anybody.
Please come in.
I'm
Nancy. I'm Marla Schroeder. Very nice to meet you.
Whoop. Hi, I'm Nancy.
Please come in and have a seat.
I don't know what you heard me say. Just as we wait to be seated. This is my 5th tour here in the division, but I've only been back here since the last days of February. And my role and responsibility here was pretty much to attend to the 14,000 people that didn't or had deployed and already returned. I commanded the same outfit that Mary Lou's husband has right now, and the Pathfinders were a portion of, and I took them to Iraq the very, very first time back in 05-06 when we stood up. We broke apart our long-range surveillance and detachment guys and made them a Pathfinder organization. I think you're familiar with that, right? And so it was deeply personal for me when I found out. At any rate, I'm sorry about that. Just want you to know that though I never had the pleasure of meeting him personally, I certainly respect his role in this organization. I know that when events such as this, come back up, it's very, very difficult for the family because you obviously have had some time to try to begin to process what's a very difficult new reality, obviously. And one of the reasons why we like to take a little private time with the family is to see that the casualty assistance that we've provided hopefully has been on the mark and helped you and attended to your most urgent or immediate needs. And do you kind of have a feeling for that? I mean, is there something that we left undone?
I can just tell you from the day that I got the knock on the door on the 26th of May. Everything kind of just goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that next day, my CAO was there, and just from that point on, you just go, 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 go.
Right.
And he's been there by my side through everything.
Mm-hmm.
If it's little questions, big questions,
Mm-hmm.
places I need to go or things I need to, and obviously I'm kind of incapacitated right now, but he's been amazing. And, I'll just deal with, I've got my family, and that's helped a lot too, but, that CAO, Sergeant G is what we call him, he'll be in my family for the rest of our lives because he's done so much for us.
Sure. It's one of the most difficult but most rewarding duties ever.
And even Major Gaffney too.
I think to many degrees it helps the fact that we speak a separate language, as you know, and it helps process it. Sometimes we get a little too legalese or a little too Army, and our acronym use is over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people wonder what exactly it is we're trying to say. And we're not trying to double talk. We just take it for granted that everybody speaks the sort of the same thing, right? I want you to know, though, that your husband and your son just absolutely respected it as a physically gifted and strong leader. Physically gifted and strong leader. And I think the remarks we make a little bit later on will resonate those same feelings of many people. I hope you find it that way. Again, this is supposed to be a day of thinking, hopefully, the positives of what a great legacy some of these tremendous people left in our lives. So, any thoughts at all about anything we could do for you?
I have a suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
My boy has got 2 adorable children. They're 6 and 9. That wanted to be a part of everything that was going on, and it's unfortunate they could not. I think that you folks can make a little better effort to recognize his sons too.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason I came down is because they asked me that if there was anything that was going to be given to them, would I bring it back for them?
Mhm.
That was what they asked me. And of course, I consented to that.
Okay.
And I think that there should be something for these kids because they're so little that I want them to remember their dad.
Sure.
For the man that he was, the proud soldier that he was, and the way he lived his life. And having them lose their dad at such a young age, that my fear is when they get to be my boy's age, there's just going to be a little dream for them about their dad. So I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that these kids get a chance to really know who their daddy is.
Mm-hmm.
And anything you folks can do to recognize. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a plaque or if it's a blanket or what it is. They would really honestly and sincerely appreciate it.
Okay, I certainly take that to heart, and I'll see what we can do. Mary Lou's husband, again, commands the brigade, and most of the units, because they're deployed until February,
right.
Most of the units hold a memorial service, and again, it's very difficult to bring the families back and back and back. But something I want you to know is, for the boys, they're always welcome here, and they are Gold Star family members too, and that makes them part of this very special population of people we will always be responsive to. We're accountable to them.
Okay.
And I think things like today, I think they'll make DVDs, for instance, of today. When you leave this room in a few minutes, you'll go downstairs and place Ergin's name up on the wall with other Screaming Eagles dating back to June of '44. And they will be there for these boys. Okay. And I hope that someday they too will come back here and appreciate the division's history and what its impact is on American way of life, because it clearly has one.
There are lots of activities that would be open to them if they...
They're up in Michigan.
When it, once they're old enough, or whenever you feel comfortable for them to come back and tour the post and do things. There are people here that will make that happen.
We're doing this for them because they asked. My 9-year-old asked, what can they do to see what happened down here?
Absolutely.
So Joe went to high school with my boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been spending a lot of time with them as well.
Well, thank you for your commitment to them,
Him
too.
and his girlfriend.
We certainly recognize, in an era where 1% of 311 million Americans serve, it's way over and above what we ask, and people deliver. They just keep committing.
And he went out and bought this camera and booked this flight at the last minute, just so the boys can see what's going on down here. So they're a part of their daddy's legacy.
Well, I'm sure if they show up here, the Pathfinders will probably put them through some of the Pathfinder rigor of rappelling off things over at the aerosol school and real boy type stuff. But I'm sure that these guys really. I understand that some of the Pathfinders came to Michigan too, right? That's how they feel about this band of brothers.
He was in the Marines for 10 years, so I had met most of the Marines.
Right.
Every single one came from all over the country, and they were at my home. They, one of them is expecting their wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they just found out a couple of weeks ago they're having a little boy. They're naming the little baby Ergin, the middle name.
Mm-hmm.
Because my son wanted the Soldier's Cross, we're going to make a provision on the water somewhere to have a memorial at the Soldier's Cross done up where he was born and raised.
Mhm.
And another Marine that he served with at Lejeune is currently a police officer down in West Palm Beach. He went and he had his whole back tattooed with the Soldier's Cross with my boy's name across his back, because he wanted him to have that memorial before we could get it into the ground.
Wow. Well, they are a special band of brothers, there's no doubt about it. There's a commitment forged between those who serve and sacrifice together, and I'm sure you're familiar. It's just, it is something very, very special. And I welcome these boys coming here anytime.
Thank you.
I, for one, will be here for at least 2 years, I hope. Unless I do something really silly. And I hope you take us up on that, honestly.
Those pins are for her to take home to the boys.
So.
That's wonderful, thank you.
We'll see if we can get you some the Pathfinder torches if they didn't bring them for you, because that too is a big part of what they are. Nobody in this division represents more about what the division is than the Pathfinder. A highly skilled soldier, comfortable around the aircraft.
Ergin was the elite one, he really was.
That's
And he
it.
definitely mentored all those soldiers. And that's one thing that will always live on,
The
is his
first
name.
in, last out mentality.
Exactly.
Before I went off to Ed Mills' funeral, I had the ability to talk to one of the original Pathfinders from Normandy. It was on June 6th, as a matter of fact, that I spoke to him. And he's now, I believe he's 85 years old, lives in California, and he was talking about jumping and delivering the beacons on the original jump.
Wow.
Same, exact same character traits. It's huge. Well, I thank you for coming. I look forward to visiting with you in a little bit. And I welcome you back at any opportunity.
Thank you very much.
And again, I hopefully you find placing his name on the wall of heroes as powerful as I find it to be. So, thanks for coming. You bet. You bet. Bless your heart, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
1944, when the division was in place. For every soldier that we have lost, our heroes, we have placed them before us, and this building is open 24/7, where we come and remember those who have loved us, continue to be a part of our day. First Sergeant is down there waiting for the family, for you two to understand that this is a moral present for us, and very close to our hearts. We care about you. Your chaplain will escort you to your First Sergeant.
Here, Chuck. Oh my God. Here's another one. Different one.
This area down here is called the Hall of Heroes. It's also called the Areas, which is also means bird sanctuary because of the 101st Airborne Division, the Screaming Eagles. All right. This area is going to always be open except 24/7 for y'all to come visit your loved ones. All right. Your son is a hero. Your husband's a hero. All right. You will always be here and stuff. You remember on this wall down here. Always be here. you have a place you can come down and remember him. About that. Right? Sir? I'd like y'all today, I can present this and put this on our wall of heroes. Take a few moments to reflect. If you wish, say a short silent prayer. Pictures. Just always remember, Seth, that we're here for you if you need anything. That we are here so to support the families. The place will always be open, Seth, for y'all to come down and visit your loved ones 24/7. If you're in the area.
Drive around. To see what's going How do I sign this, man? Do I just sign it Sarah Osman or Mom? Or how do I sign these?
Oh, you can just put your name. She's actually a friend of my wife's.
pages before. Oh, you can do
Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seat. Man Sergeant Major Scott C. Schroeder, Post Sergeant Major. Welcome to the Eagle Remembrance Ceremony. This afternoon's ceremony is hosted by Brigadier General Jeffrey N. Cole, Deputy Commanding General for Support, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault. Today we have gathered to pay a solemn tribute to the soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice and to remember and pray for the soldiers still serving in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation New Dawn. This afternoon's ceremony will be presided over by chaplains from the Installation Chaplain's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the opening invocation delivered by Chaplain Edward Coy.
Let us join together in prayer. Most gracious God, as we pause for the day, our hearts and our minds become flooded with so many thoughts of the loved ones that we have come to honor and to share, the thoughts and the memories, the laughter and the sadness that comes to our heart as we continue this afternoon. In a special way that we may not be able to comprehend, God, we ask for a peace of resolve, that as we share the memories, as we talk about the day, we come to understand that it is not just this day, but it's eternity that we get to share because of the love that's been given and those who serve this nation and have sacrificed their life for our freedom. We truly love you. We've come to be together and to embrace the memory, the thought, and the grace that's been extended to these soldiers. And so it is, Lord, we come in your Son's name. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Brigadier General Jeffrey N. Cole.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends, soldiers and families of 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, and most importantly, to our families of our fallen heroes that we all gather to honor here today. Thank you all for joining us as we pay tribute to 7 courageous Screaming Eagles, all selfless volunteers, their names immortalized in our division's Hall of Heroes, joining 121 others from the current and ongoing Rendezvous with Destiny. This small gesture serves as a powerful and timeless gesture. It's a reminder that whether it was in Normandy in 1944 or Afghanistan in 2010 or 11, these very special Screaming Eagles gave their last full measure of devotion in their service and defense of this great nation and this historic division. For our families here today, those who have lost a loved one, I recognize that my words will never fill that void. But please know this, that your loved ones, they were and they are respected. They were and they are loved like family. They set an example of courage, commitment, and hard work. They achieved much and they made a difference. What they did and their sacrifices and the sacrifices they made mattered. And most assuredly, this band of brothers and sisters will never be forgotten. We recognize the soldiers volunteer, but we recognize the families serve and sacrifice. For more than 236 years, volunteers have answered the call to serve and support the nation's army. These heroes and their families that we honor here today represent the great mosaic that we call America. Families that have come from Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Alabama, Colorado, Ohio, Michigan, Washington, and Florida, and many cities in between. They reflect the greatest and most selfless qualities, and they personify the patriotism and passion born in our citizenry and our Army more than 236 years ago. Today's honorees, through their many shared experiences and sacrifices with their families, their friends, and their fellow soldiers, were integral in not just shaping lives, but in many respects, changing them through the relationships they made. Today we began by honoring the remaining 2 of 6 lifeliners, tragically fallen on the 16th of April in a cowardly suicide attack, while these lifeliners were working diligently shoulder to shoulder to advance the development of Afghan security partners, a critical effort that they both fully embraced with extraordinary professionalism. We remember Sergeant First Class Charles L. Adkins, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, 101st Special Troops Battalion, 101st Sustainment Brigade. While most of the Army knew him as Sergeant First Class Charles Adkins, his friends knew him as Diesel, or Chuck. Diesel was the perfect name for him because he was big, strong, and had the strength and courage to go anywhere and do anything. He was a dynamic leader, unwilling to hold back if he recognized something was wrong. You always knew when he was near because he had the kind of personality that just filled a room. He was the kind of person that could make everyone laugh so hard that they ended up crying. And that was Chuck's trademark. He always wanted to make people happy. Not only did he have a great sense of humor and a passion for golf, fishing, sports, he had a profound love for his family. He was a loving father and a true friend. Chuck was the kind of man who would solve any problem for anyone, and he'd stand by them until the end. Words can never express what Chuck meant to everyone. He lived his life to the fullest and would have had it no other way. We also recognize Sergeant Linda L. Pierre, Headquarters and Headquarters Company for 101st Special Troops Battalion, 101st Sustainment Brigade. Passion, determination, vigilance, faithfulness, and self-reliance. These are just a few of the words that best describe Sergeant Linda Pierre, LP as she was known to her friends. She had determination and work ethic unmatched by peers, allowing her to succeed at every task presented to her. Sergeant Pierre wasn't just a remarkable soldier, she was also the type of person that once she knew them, she'd also catch them off guard with a joke or a silly saying. She was also a very loving and giving person, strong in her spiritual faith rather. She was someone you could depend on through the good and the bad. Linda never worried about her future. She simply placed all matters in God's hands, no matter what the situation. She was a spiritual battle buddy. LP was there with a kind word and an open heart. She was a great NCO, an outstanding colleague, and an even better friend. Today we also honor four of our 6 fallen Pathfinders, tragically taken from us on May 26th. These Pathfinders were patrolling to find, fix, and remove bomb materials that would have been used to savagely
and indiscriminately, be used savagely or indiscriminately against U.S. and Afghan security forces and peace-seeking Afghan men, women, and children. These extraordinary men truly epitomize what it means to be an air assault soldier. From the 159th Combat Aviation Brigade Thunder, Staff Sergeant Edward D. Mills Jr., Fox Company, Pathfinder, 4th Battalion, 101st Aviation Regiment. Staff Sergeant Mills was the definition of a quiet professional. Confident, compassionate, with superb technical and tactical expertise. He had an infectious intensity in everything that he did, whether work or play. Eddie was a man of action. In the words of his friends, one of the greatest men you'd ever want to meet. The recurring theme in speaking with the people who knew Eddie personally, whether family, friends, or fellow soldiers, was just how incredible a person he really was. Not only was he the most experienced of squad leaders in the Pathfinders, he was considered one of the best units teachers and most caring NCOs. He had a great heart, and he was willing to give everything to anyone in need. One of his friends said it best, "I don't believe there'll ever be another non-commissioned officer that was as outstanding as Staff Sergeant Mills." Staff Sergeant Ergin B. Osman, Fox Company Pathfinder, 4th Battalion, 101st Aviation Battalion. Described by his soldiers as an excellent platoon sergeant and an outstanding person. Staff Sergeant Osman was tough but fair. He was a powerhouse, the type of person that had the ability to make a bad situation better through force of personality and sheer confidence in his own abilities. One of his soldier believes that no one scared more privates than Staff Sergeant Osman, and he always seemed to do that with a smile on his face. That was the sort of leader he was, both caring yet strict. He understood that for soldiers to succeed more, they must be disciplined and trained. He was his platoon sergeant's father figure, never allowing anyone to mess with his soldiers, preferring instead to take the punishment himself than issue the correction in his own manner. However, not only was he a superb warrior and an excellent leader, he was a caring father who loved his two sons dearly. It was his intense love for his boys that made him a great NCO, because he loved his soldiers much as he loved his own family. He has the eternal love and respect of his men, any of whom would seek to live, serve, and fight beside him again. Sergeant Luis Ramos Velasquez, Fox Company Pathfinder, 4th Battalion, 101st Aviation Regiment. Known as Doc to his teammates, Sergeant Ramos was an amazing medic and an even more awesome person. He went far beyond to ensure everyone was well, both mentally and physically. He cared so much about the welfare of his teammates and friends. Friendly and easygoing, Sergeant Ramos was a big-hearted man who placed the needs of others always before his own, and was always willing to help them in any way he could. As much as he gave to his fellow soldiers, Sergeant Ramos lived for his family. The recurring theme in everyone's recollection of Doc was his intense pride that he had for his wife, 2 sons, and his daughter. He was always telling everyone who would listen about his children's accomplishments. An avid baseball lover, he enjoyed nothing more than spending time with those precious moments with his sons and those who love the game. Specialist Adam J. Patton, Fox Company, Pathfinder, 4th Battalion, 101st Aviation Regiment. In the words of his leadership, Specialist Patton was one of the best soldiers anyone could ask for. With a giant heart, he was smart, hardworking, and could always get the job done regardless of the difficulty. While he was an outstanding soldier and an excellent radioman, to those who knew him, he was above all a great friend. If someone was in need, he was the first to offer assistance. His upbeat attitude and infectious smile always seemed to cheer everyone up, regardless of the situation. A lover of dirt bikes, Taylor Swift, go figure, and Harry Potter, Specialist Pat was always on the lookout for fun. And if fun wasn't available, his friends counted on him to make some. One of his friends, while in the midst of personal troubles, fondly remembers Specialist Patton sitting down and just listening without judgment. This was the kind of individual Specialist Patton was. He was the best friend someone could ever have, and there will never be another person better or a better soldier. And perhaps most appropriately, we close today by honoring from the 2nd Brigade Combat Team Strike, Corporal Brandon M. Curtin, Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 502nd Infantry Regiment. A veteran of multiple deployments, Corporal Curtin was a very talented and valued member of the strike team. As a leader, Corporal Curtin was always out front, choosing the hardest and most difficult tasks to set the example for what right looks like. According to his platoon leader, Corporal Curtin was the type of soldier you yearned to have. Not only was he fearless in the face of danger and passionate about his job, he was also loyal to the very end. Exhaustion was not a word in his vocabulary. Brandon always ensured that every task was complete before even thinking of taking a rest. An unrepentant practical joker, Brandon's passion extended far beyond the rigors of his profession, as clearly evidenced by his love that he held for his family. He wanted nothing more than to return home to his beloved fiancée, Charity, and his infant daughter, Heaven Lee. It's Heaven Lee, not Heaven, okay? Because they were the driving force that gave him the energy to last every day that he was deployed. You see, I saved him for last, in fact, because Corporal Curtin bravely fell on his final patrol. In fact, few events could probably serve as a more vivid reminder to us just how life's tremendous uncertainties are. A call to remember and appreciate the moments we've been blessed to have in the company of these heroes. These young eagles lived our warrior ethos. They never quit. They live tragically shortened lives, and they leave legacies that will live with us for a very, very long time. Never should we forget their sacrifices these exceptional soldiers and their families have made for all of us. May God bless these heroes, their families, and this great nation. Thank you again for attending.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain Trey Bowman.
Today's scripture reading is from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verses 17 and 18, and 35, 37, along with 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 8. Verse 17. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword. Yet in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 1 through 8. This talks about the resurrection. For we know that if our earthly house, this tent, our body, is destroyed, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed with our habitation, which is from heaven. If indeed, having been clothed, we shall not be found naked. For we who know are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we want to be unclothed, but further clothed, that mortality may be swallowed up by life. Now, he who has prepared us for this very thing is God, who also has given us the Spirit as a guarantee. So we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, yes, well pleased, rather, to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Blessed be the reading of the word.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the reading of the names, a moment of honor and silence, and remain standing for the playing of Amazing Grace and Taps. The lighting of the candle this afternoon is significant in that its symbolic light represents the light of freedom that shines even in the darkest of times. It is through the sacrifice of the few that the many may enjoy this light for generations to come. That is why at this time we wish to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in defending the beliefs and principles of this great nation. Benjamin Disraeli once said, "The legacy of heroes is in the memory of a great name and the inheritance of a great example." And so this afternoon we remember the great example set by Sergeant First Class Charles L. Atkins, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, 101st Special Troops Battalion, 101st Sustainment Brigade. Staff Sergeant Edward B. Mills, Fox Company, 4th of the 101st Aviation Regiment, 159th Combat Aviation Brigade. Staff Sergeant Ergin B. Osman, Fox Company, 4th of the 101st Aviation Regiment, 159th Combat Aviation Brigade. Sergeant Linda L. Pierre, Headquarters of Headquarters Company, 101st Special Troops Battalion, 101st Sustainment Brigade. Sergeant Louis A. Ramos, Fox Company, 4th of the 101st Aviation Regiment, 159th Combat Aviation Brigade. Corporal Brandon M. Curtin, Charlie Company, 2nd of the 502nd Infantry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team. Specialist Adam J. Patton, Fox Company, 4th of the 101st Aviation Regiment, 159th Combat Aviation Brigade. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the benediction delivered by Chaplain Trey Bowman.
Let us pray. Eternal One above, at this time we ask for your peace and understanding. Help us to get through our grief. We need your wise counsel. We remain together as one, honoring our heroes who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. You have given us these brave soldiers to know, love, and cherish. We shall never forget their loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These are values. These values, in essence, are legacies. We know, Father, that values are easy to quote, but challenging to live out and to pass on to others. This is exactly what our beloved brothers and sister did. They lived a life of significance, of meaning, and of value. Thank you, Lord, for giving us them to know and to love. We have come here to commemorate their lives, and we shall never forget their profound impact. Bless us as we soon depart, and keep us in your grace, peace, and love. It's all these things we do pray. Amen. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while the family and commander pay their respects in the park area.
Honey, you can't, don't you dare climb it. Don't you dare climb it. Don't make me leave. You keep climbing.
We get ready to do a little presentation here in a few minutes, brother.
Okay.
Yes, sir, inside there.
Station here anymore. I'm in Fort Knox, Kentucky right now.
Would you come over to the hotel or we can meet you somewhere tonight when this is over?
You can talk when this is over.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, your first name?
Monty.
Monty.